So when all of this starts happening and it really starts to move, this whole movement starts to, people start getting on board, what's your wildest dream, your wildest imaginings about where you can take this and what the outcomes will be?
Well, I can just, even if we've got a dial of self-esteem, we turn it up one notch, it's going to have such an impact in how people interact with each other, how they communicate, who's smiling on the street. There's going to be less social drift with all of these, kind of disconnects, I think, because people are going to feel good and they're going to want to dance and they're going to want to be together and feel good. Because I feel like this is my passion. This is the service that I was born to do, to help people believe in themselves even just a little bit more. And then those are, everybody's going to help each other, of course.
No, we're almost running out of time, so we need to sort of pull all this together. But one thing I want to get back to and finish my thought on this is because it's really important. We were talking about how easy this is, how really easy this is. Research already shows that if you just, once you bring that thought, that identity statement that doesn't work for you up to your conscious mind, you can change it to something that actually gets you what you want and where you want to go. Once you do that, it's just about repetition. I mean, research shows that if you just repeat it to yourself, listen to tapes, write it down for 30 consecutive days or more. 30 consecutive days, it takes 7 minutes to write I am lovable 100 times.
Yeah.
If you do that for 30 consecutive days, you create a complete new, your subconscious mind will automatically create a new acting out program. With or without your approval or acknowledgement, it just becomes automatic just by the virtue of repetition.
Right.
How easy is that?
Thank goodness. And think about it. If you're wearing a t-shirt that says, I believe in myself, and if you're drinking coffee out of the mug that has, so I got value, I mean, it's just going to reinforce everything.
I know that people are looking for more of that, who am I, instead of who am I not?
Yeah.
How do I
want to be inspired, and I just hope, if I do nothing else, that this campaign will inspire people to make changes.
And change is always a good thing, It's if we keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome, that's the definition of insanity in the dictionary. So change is a really good thing. Changing the way you think changes the outcome in your lives. So A+.
Exactly.
We look out into the world and we think everybody out there is doing so well, and we're the only ones suffering from, lack of self-esteem. The truth is, we're all doing the best we can and overcompensating all over the place, just showing up the best we can. And the more we improve our self-esteem, the better we get to show up. And transfiguration is such a big part of this. You talked about that. When we start feeling better, people start treating us better.
Exactly.
And the cool thing, this is the best part about, I think, this is my favorite part about changing personal lives, is that all the people who love us in the world no longer have to show up for that appointment to treat us as if what we made up about ourselves was real.
Wow.
So our relationships, that's a really big thing. We get to have more connected and more wonderful relationships because we don't have to show up for each other in a way that supports the dysfunction. We get to show up in a way that supports the joy and who we really are. So I love that part. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
This was so wonderful, and I'm really excited. I wanted to give out some information so people could get some information on this. So let's see, we've got a couple of websites here. We have self-worth, that's www.self-worth.org, or www.believe-in-yourself.org. And I'm going to put that across the screen so it makes a little bit more sense and people could write all that down. And there'll be some information up on that. It's going to start, I believe it's getting all started now. There'll be one page up, and it's just going to expand exponentially with as many people that start signing up for this and responding to the website. It'll just keep growing and growing and growing and growing. And getting better and better and better.
So if you have ideas for us, or if you want to partner with us, please just send us your information.
Some people, I think, are out there thinking, yeah, so what if I change, if I change the way I think about myself, really what's going to change? But I just want you to just for one day, ask yourself, what if changing my thoughts about myself really make a huge impact in my life? Let me give it a shot for maybe 24 hours and just see how different you feel. Because if you're feeling better, that's evidence that it's already beginning to start working.
And maybe I'm worth it.
And maybe you are. Actually, I know you are.
Yes.
You're worth it, you're good enough, you're lovable, and you are a gift to life, just by the virtue of breathing air. Before we finish the interview, is there anything that you'd like to add to just feel really complete, anything that we haven't said, or anything you'd like to just add to the interview?
Well, I just wanted to say something about self-sabotaging behaviors, which we all engage in. Maybe we don't understand where that comes from, but things like procrastination and overeating and not being able to quit smoking and all of those kinds of things, truancy, recidivism rates are so extraordinarily high, and I equate all of that with suffering from low self-value. And I know that there are other issues that are in there, but I believe that that's a foundational part of why people don't reach for higher standards for themselves. And I feel that it's a very sad thing in our culture. Because I know the suffering that produces that kind of behavior. So in my dream and my hope is that this movement will help people solve those kinds of behaviors in themselves, and then we will also benefit as a society from it.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought all that up, because I don't think people even realize sometimes that smoking could be about self-esteem. Even weight loss could be about self-esteem. And
right.
what's happening with a lot of these issues, we have this thought, like, I'm going to go for this I'm unlovable thought.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
you can only imagine how bad that would feel to think that thought. And it's something that you accepted about yourself or decided way, long time ago that's just been sitting down there, and it feels really bad. When you think that thought, it feels really bad. So every time that thought starts to emerge, what happens is we start feeling bad.
Right.
And in order to get rid of that feeling, because we don't want to go there,
we
don't want to go, oh my God, I'm unlovable, and we don't want to go to there. So, and sometimes a lot of times we're not even aware of what that thought is.
Exactly.
But we are
just
aware
have
of
this feeling.
Exactly, the biology of that belief.
That chemistry in our bodies.
Exactly.
Right?
So that's what we start feeling, is that feeling that's attached to the thought, I'm not good enough, that feels really bad. And as soon as that starts coming up, the subconscious mind always wants to move. One of the survival mechanisms is to move from pain to pleasure.
Right.
So as soon as that thought starts to emerge, we want to push it back down. And we do that by acting out, by procrastinating. We do it by smoking. Push it back down. Overeating is a perfect, those are just perfect metaphors for how we literally just push it down.
Right.
But really, all that's behind that feeling that you've been avoiding your whole life and trying to get rid of is a simple thought that's never been true in the first place.
And then it's just building that. That's why we say building self-worth, building self-esteem, because we need to create the building blocks in us in order to solve that problem within us.
So it's all pretty basic. I mean, it really is pretty
very
simple. It was really easy when we made up we weren't good enough. And it was very simple to make up I wasn't lovable. It's not that hard to change it either.
And you don't have to do it by yourself, because hopefully everybody on the street is going to be engaged in this project with you and finding good ways to help people feel better about themselves.
And it's time. It's time.
Yeah,
it is so time for this right now. So I'm getting goosebumps just when I say that. It's time. So everybody come on board.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Again, selfworth.org or believeinyourself.org. And thanks again, Sarah.
Oh, my pleasure.
You all have a wonderful evening.
A+, Mitch and Sarah, what a great interview. And thank you, Sara McIntosh, for coming in all the way from Chicago to do that great interview with us. And if you have any questions for us, would like to contact us, please visit our website at itsyourmindthatmatters.com.
And if you've got a nice weekend, it's been so beautiful here, why don't you hop on the train and then come visit us at Mind Over Matter Bookstore in the Santa Fe Arcade. We'd love to meet you.
Thanks and have a great evening.